Hello students, how are you all? I hope you all are doing well. Myself Shwetamal is again here to teach you class 6 biology. And in our last class, as I told you that we studied about the topic structure of a cell. And as I told you that there are three main parts in a typical cell, that is plasma membrane, that is also called as cell membrane, cytoplasm and nucleus. And today we'll start with plasma membrane. Plasma membrane is also known as cell membrane. Plasma membrane is also known as cell membrane. A cell is surrounded by a membrane. A cell is all surrounded by a membrane, and that membrane is called as plasma membrane or a cell membrane. It is thin, delicate and flexible. It is thin, delicate and flexible. It is living. It is made up of fats and proteins. What it is made up of? It is made up of fats as well as it is made up of proteins, and it contains pores, small pores. It contains pores. So as I told you that plasma membrane, what is plasma membrane? A cell is surrounded by a membrane. That membrane is called as plasma membrane or cell membrane, and it is thin, delicate and flexible. It is living. It is made up of fats and proteins, and it contains pores. Now, what is the function of a plasma membrane? So, as I told you that what is plasma membrane? It is the cell is surrounded by a membrane that is called as plasma membrane. So its function it gives an outer boundary to the cell. It gives an outer boundary to the cell. It protects the cell. What does it do? It protects the cell. It maintains the shape of the cell. It maintains the shape of the cell. The pores of the plasma membrane allow the entry and the exit of only selected substances. The pores, what does they do? They allow the entry and the exit of only the selected substances. Thus, the plasma membrane is called a selectively permeable membrane. So, if I ask you that why the plasma membrane is called a selectively permeable membrane, you can say that they prevent the movement of the substances which are the pores of the plasma membrane allow the entry and the exit of only selected substances, so they are called as selectively permeable membrane. And as you can see here a picture of a plasma membrane. So these are proteins. It is made up of lipids as well as carbohydrates. Extremely delicate, thin, elastic, living and semi-permeable membrane made up of two layers of lipid molecules in which protein molecules are floating. Thickness varies from 75 to 110 A, can be observed under an electron microscope only. Functions: maintain shape and size of the cell, protects internal contents of the cell, regulates entry and exit of substances in and out of the cell, and maintains homeostasis. Now let us know about cell wall. What is cell wall? In plant cells, the plasma membrane is surrounded by the cell wall. In plant cells, the plasma membrane is surrounded by the cell wall. It is thick and rigid. It is thick as well as it is rigid. It is non-living. It is non-living. It is made up of cellulose. What it is made up of? It is made up of cellulose. It is absent in animal cells. It is absent in animal cells. So what about cell wall? As I told you that it is thick, it is rigid, it is non-living, it is made up of cellulose, and it is absent in animal cells. It is only present in plant cells. In plant cells, the plasma membrane is surrounded by a cell wall. And what is its function? Its function is that it gives a definite shape and rigidity to the plant cell. What does it do? It gives a definite shape and rigidity to the plant cell. It protects the plant cell from disease causing agents and mechanical injuries. What does it do? It protects the plant cell from disease causing agents and mechanical injuries. It is freely permeable. What it is? It is freely permeable. What do you mean by freely permeable? It means that it allows the movement of all the substances across it. It allows the movement of all the substances across it. So, as I told you, this is the structure of a cell wall. Non-living and outermost covering of a cell can be tough, rigid, and sometimes flexible, made up of cellulose, hemicellulose, and pectin. May be thin or thick, multi-layered structure. Its thickness varies from 50 to 1000, and function is it provides definite shape, strength, and rigidity. It prevents drying up of cells, helps in controlling cell expansion, and protects cell from external pathogens. Now let us study about cytoplasm. What is cytoplasm? It is a thick jelly-like colorless fluid. What it is? It is a thick jelly-like colorless fluid. It occupies the space between the plasma membrane and the nucleus. What it is do? It occupies the space where it is present between the plasma membrane and the nucleus. All cell organelles are present in the cytoplasm. All cell organelles are present in the cytoplasm. So here is the figure of a cytoplasm. It is jelly-like material formed by 80% of water present between the plasma membrane and the nucleus. Where it is present? It is present between the plasma membrane and the nucleus. It contains a clear liquid portion that is called as cytosol and various particles. Particles are proteins, carbohydrates, nucleic acids, lipids, and inorganic ions. It also contains many organelles with distinct structure and function. Some of these organelles are visible only under an electron microscope. Granular and dense in animal cells, and it is thin in plant cells. Now let us study about nucleus. It is the most important part of a living cell. What it is? It is the most important. So, as I was telling you that nucleus is the most important part of a living cell. It is small and it is spherical. It is small as well as it is spherical in shape. It is generally located in the center of the cell. What is its location? It is generally located in the center of the cell. It is small and it is spherical, and it is the most important part of a living cell. It has 4 parts. This nucleus has 4 parts. What are those parts? Nuclear membrane, nucleoplasm, nucleolus, and chromatin. What is that? Nuclear membrane, nucleoplasm, nucleolus, and chromatin. Okay? So, as I told you that nucleus has 4 parts. What are those 4 parts? Nuclear membrane, nucleoplasm, nucleolus, and chromatin. So, here you can see that figure of a nucleus. It is dense, spherical body and located near the center of the cell. Its diameter varies from 10 to 25 micrometer, present in all the cells except red blood cells and sieve tube cells, well developed in plant and animal cells, undeveloped in bacteria and blue-green algae, that is cyanobacteria. Most of the cells are uninucleated, that is having only one nucleus, and few types of cells have more than one nucleus, like skeletal muscle cells. Nucleus has a double layered covering that is called as nuclear membrane. Nuclear membrane has pores of diameter about 80 to 100 nanometer. Colorless dense sap present inside the nucleus known as nucleoplasm. Nucleoplasm contains round shaped nucleolus and network of chromatin fibers. You can see here it contains round shaped nucleolus and network of chromatin fibers, and fibers are composed of deoxyribonucleic acid, that is DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, and protein histone. These fibers condense to form chromosomes during cell division. Chromosomes contain stretches of DNA that is called as genes. Genes transfer the hereditary information from one generation to the next. What is the function? Function of the nucleus is to control all the cell activities like metabolism, protein synthesis, growth, and cell division. Nucleolus synthesizes ribonucleic acid, that is RNA, to constitute ribosomes, store hereditary information in genes. Let me explain you once more. As I told you that nucleus has four parts, that is nuclear membrane, nucleoplasm, nucleolus, and chromatin. When I talk about nuclear membrane, it separates the nucleus from the cytoplasm. What does it do? It separates the nucleus from the cytoplasm. It is porous. It has small pores. It allows the movement of selected materials between the cytoplasm and the nucleoplasm. And what about nucleoplasm? What is nucleoplasm? The dense fluid inside the nucleus is called as nucleoplasm. The dense fluid which is present inside the nucleus is called as nucleoplasm. Cytoplasm and nucleoplasm together forms protoplasm. And now what about nucleolus? It is a small spherical body. It is present in the nucleoplasm. What it is? It is a small spherical body and it is present in the nucleoplasm. Now chromatin. As I told you that chromatin is a network of thin thread-like structures. It is a network of thin thread-like structures. These are made up of DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, and during cell division, the chromatin material condenses and forms thick ribbon-like structures that is called as chromosomes. And when I talk about the function of nucleus, what does it do? It controls all the activities of the cell. The main function is this, that it controls all the activities of a cell. Chromosomes contain genes. What does the chromosomes contain? They contain genes, and genes pass genetic characters from parents to offspring. What does they do? They pass genetic characters from parents to offspring. That is why offspring resemble their parents. That is why offsprings are just like they resemble to their parents. If a person has brown eyes, his son or daughter may also have brown eyes. It is not always necessary they will have, but they can have. However, different combination of genes from parents result in different characteristics. Today I am giving you a question, just find it out and I will ask you in my next class. What will happen when there is no nucleus in the cell? What will happen? As I told you that nucleus is the most important part of a living cell and its function is to control all the activities of a cell. So what is going to happen if there is no nucleus in the cell? Okay, and today it was all about the class, and in our next class we are going to study about cell organelles. Okay, thank you students.